Okay, 17.7 is all about what we call instruments of conveyance. So, convey really means to give or to transfer to another person. So, what are the tools that we use to transfer real property from one person to another, or to convey real property from one person to another? And there's the sale or deed. Okay, so transfer by sale or deed is an owner, which is sometimes called the grantor or the seller. Um, Conveys a title to a piece of real property, the buyer or the grantee, right? Sometimes also the purchaser. Okay, so the grantor grants the title or conveys the title to the grantee. Okay, a deed is a formal written contract between the parties by which the seller or the grantor sells the property to the buyer for agreed upon consideration. Now, consideration we had talked about previously when we talked about contracts. That's the purchase price. That's how much one person is giving for the other thing of value. Okay. Every state has different laws kind of as it relates to what is required on a deed, but they're all pretty similar. They talk about how much the consideration is, what the actual property is, usually with a description of the physical location and boundaries of the property. It's almost always signed off on by an attorney as to its validity and preparation. It's also going to talk about what type of title is being conveyed. Is it fee simple absolute? Is it a life tenancy? Is it going to be as joint tenants or tenants by the entirety or tenants in common? All of those things are going to go into a deed. Okay, there's what we call the a warranty deed, or sometimes a general warranty deed. That's the most desirable kind. That is pretty much a standard deed where the seller or the grantor is warranting that there's clear and merchantable title that as it's being transferred to the grantee. Okay, there's also a special warranty deed, and that is where the grantor is warranting or promising or assuring the grantee that the title of the property is being conveyed against any claims under the seller or the seller's heirs, accepting encumbrances specifically listed in the deed. So it does not guarantee anything that may be encumbering the property or may be clouding the title from before the time the seller actually held it. So a general warranty deed covers the history of the property. A special warranty deed is only covers a guarantee for that period that the seller held it, but anything before that is not going to be promised. So that's not as desirable. Usually you want a general warranty deed. There's also a quick claim deed, which the seller or the grantor doesn't say anything about the title. They're just signing off, hey, you can have this property, but we're not promising anything as to whether the title has defects or any clouds on it. I mean, that makes sense in some occasions, particularly if it's a family-to-family transfer or something like that. There's a probate deed that's going to be slightly different. That is where it gets transferred from the estate of somebody or somebody who has passed away to the grantee. Sometimes it's called a personal representative's deed or an executor's deed. That's transferring by a gift in a will, okay, transferring by devise, right? Or it is being transferred without a will, but to the appropriate heirs as is determined by the court.